I don't have much of my father around. I still think that missing link is still there.
I didn't grow up to see him around. So they separated before I grew up. It was even later that I got to know that he had another family.
I lost my dad when I was 10 years old. I would say I don't really have, what would say a perfect picture of what fatherhood is.
I used to work in Lagos. I can't imagine leaving home as early as 5 and then you are getting back home 11, 12.
Huh?
The kids are already asleep before you get back home. So the only time you have with your kids are probably weekends. And for my own kind of industry, weekends you might be available. You might have to get back to work for one thing or the other.
I was going into the labor room. The way she was even looking, she was looking like I went to her. You are not going to die now. So why are you doing like this?
Single parenting. We talk more about widow. We don't actually talk more about widower. And this is also part of fatherhood. The man is left with 3 kids and the wife is late. Most of them don't get emotional support from the society. My name is Samuel Afolayan, and in celebration of the Father's Day, we're going to be striking up a conversation around the high and low of fatherhood. And I have some amazing fathers right here with me, and I'm going to be starting from this this young father that is just at my right hand side. So kindly just introduce yourself so that we can just get on with the conversation.
Yeah, thank you, sir. My name is Akonbi Caleb Oladaya. I think I became a father 2 years and some months ago, and it has been an amazing journey. Thank you, sir.
Wow, that's amazing enough. Okay, so over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Akikumi Oyalowo. I've been a father, well, not too long. I'm still very young. That's 16 years ago now.
Okay.
All right. My name is Adewale Victor Tosin, and my eldest son is 4 years.
Wow.
So I became a father 4 years ago.
Wow. That's amazing. It's like we have a mix of some amazing fathers. We have father for 2 years, father for 4 years, and we have father for 16 years. 16 amazing years. That's wonderful. And just to talk about some of the high and lows of fatherhood. I met an amazing young father that has his daughter in the Polytechnic, and this man went the extra length of getting others quick loan from one of others bank app to quickly offset some of the bills that the daughter has to make in school. And in fact, that has been giving him some issue because he's not been able to pay up the loan and it's already due. So I don't know if any one of us could just talk about some of the extreme that fathers do go through just to provide for the family, to make sure bills are paid, to make sure needs are met.
Yeah, in my short experience so far, as a father, you carry the total weight of the whole family.
Wow.
In fact, sometimes you look after everybody else except yourself. And that has been the case for long. And when people talk about that, before I became a father, I usually see it as, could this be actually true, that how can you take care of everybody else and forget to take care of yourself? Until I became a father too. Sometimes you plan for everybody else, and after everything, you now realize that you have failed to. When I'm talking about spending now, okay, this belongs to this. You now realize that you, the person that even made the money, you are not on the.
But now let me talk about that. So you are making the money. You are not even trying to, have some time to wine and dine with which means. Will I be correct to say fatherhood is most likely centered on career? Because if you look at what are the things that is keeping fathers from not, probably taking that time to enjoy, some of the money and the like, is because they are pursuing career, the career that would end up providing for the family. So will I be right to say fatherhood is almost kind of centered around career?
Well, it's a yes and a no thing. Yes, in the sense that, of course, you must be out every morning.
Okay.
To go get the daily bread. But at the same time, looking at the angle it came from, looking at the budget and all those things, you are more concerned about, I need to take care of the feedings at home, I need to take care of the school fees, I need to take care of, you always see urgent 2Ks around.
Yes.
So there are times that by the time you even know what's happening, you discover that there's nothing even left for you to take care of yourself. So yes, because you're out and for the hustling and bustling on daily basis, you get to get carried away that you don't get to take care of yourself. For my own kind of industry, for instance, you could be at work and you forget that you've not even had breakfast.
Wow.
And before you know what's happening, it's closing time already. So you see that happens, but at the same time, even where it's not about the fact that you are busy at work, the aspect of you trying to ensure everybody is fine. While you are looking at to pay for school fees, you are also thinking about clothing. Especially when festivities by the corner. You can imagine, if not for instances where you have to wear probably the same attire with family members, you pay attention to your kids, your wife, and you forget about your own self.
But now this is my argument. So if it's looking as fatherhood is almost like centered around career, that means if I get to pick between between career and family, I would be right to say I want to pick career, right? Because without career, I cannot properly run the family. And I think this is becoming a kind of like an issue in homes where the father is looking like unavailable most of the time. And the home doesn't quite understand that the reason for the unavailability of the father is because they want to keep the family together. So, but I don't know if Mr. Kombi would have something to say about that. So I don't know. What is your take on that? Do you think family, career, which one would you prioritize? I know family is important, but which one would you prioritize?
Well, I think naturally, I'll still prioritize career, because that is where the money is coming from to finance and do a lot of things at home. But I would like to talk in this aspect of I think Proverbs chapter 18 verse 22 said, if you have a man that finds a good wife, like he said, he finds a favor in the eyes of God. So I think this is based on the kind of, if God gives you a good wife, if I'm permitted to talk in that aspect, so I think it makes fatherhood kind of easier. Talking about providing for buying stuff for the family and the like. So most time when I do it, normally I don't. Something like last year, all the clothes I bought was when my friends are getting married. You understand? So just buying. So, but I could remember, normal. The children who, Christmas, New Year, all those things. But my wife took it upon herself to, okay, let me buy for this. Okay, you are getting a new shoe even from our own money, and I think that journey has been kind of easier because of her helping me in that aspect. But naturally, availability and the likes, because of the nature of my work too, I am kind of available most time because I can work at home. But most time when I'm at home, at times I lock myself inside. It's not looking like I'm still at home too, but you understand what I'm saying? But everything is still based on.
Wait, is this not actually covering up for the lapses of why kids get to grow up, and then when they are picking, who do you love most, your father or your mother? Is it not one of the lapses for majority of children loving their mother more than the father? Because the mother is always available, father is unavailable. Why? Because he has to provide for the family. So how do we balance this? For me, is the balancing. And for me, I think me personally, I want to take it upon myself. My own children must also love me as much as they want to love their mother, and I'm going to imprint it in their heart. In fact, I have a friend of mine that says anytime he's paying school fees, he will call the little bit grown up one and be like, see, I am paying your school fees now, I'm giving the money to your mother. So I might not be the one to go with you. Your mother is going to be the one that will go there. Back in those days where people still take cash to the
take
school.
my
But now you can even make transfer without even showing up. But this guy taking upon himself to let the kids know that, see, I'm paying for your school fees. You understand? Yes, your mother is taking care of you, but I'm doing the financial part of the taking care of, and that's why I'm not available. So how do we balance these things so that fatherhood still is gonna be fun? Why you want to be the best father, to provide, make the provision available? How do we ensure that our kids still grow up to, liking us, loving us as a father? What is that balance in between?
Actually, from, how do I put it now? Right from onset, as the man is already 1-0 down.
Okay.
If I'm to use football terms.
Okay.
In the sense that I have a son, I have both. I bless God for that. But the thing is, the kid actually bonds with the mother first. You are playing catch up right from
You
the
never ever
beginning.
catch up anyway.
So the thing is, you can only just do your best. Make sure you are available. And just like he said, most the society has changed now, where we have people who can afford to work from home.
Okay.
And all that. But I understand the struggle, because many times you are at home.
Okay.
But you are not at home.
Truly.
Yeah. Like yesterday, I was at home, but I was only at home for like maybe 3 hours out of the whole 24 hours.
Okay.
I was not really at home because I was actually still working. So you just need to, from personal experience and what I've observed, because I'm observant, I study my environment and all that. From the analogy I just made now, the child, whether the child is a male or female, they bond with the mother first, because the mother have to practically breastfeed and all that. So the bonding starts from the early
mother
stage.
Yes.
So as the father, all you can do is do your best. Make sure you are available when you are available.
But that brings us to this discussion of parenting. So what role does father play in parenting outside of the financial responsibility? That, because it's now looking like we have streamlined the role of fatherhood to just provision. So when it comes to real parenting, see, I'm not going to try to, yes, I'm not a father yet, but at least
very
but at least I had a father, and I can count the number of times that my father was actually available when it comes to parenting. So I don't know what is that. How can we really bridge this gap? Because that is where I think the majority of the things lie. So are there other ways that we can express fatherhood other than providing for the family? Can there be other things that we can do in terms of parenting outside of just providing for the family?
Okay. Growing up, learning from my dad. My dad is someone, he was a civil servant when he was alive, and I cannot remember if there is a day whereby my dad came to my school for probably PTA meeting. It never happened. Sincerely, throughout my days in school, and this was my dad's analogy. He believed that once he pays the school fees, well, it's not only my dad. Most time my mom too doesn't go.
Okay.
They believe that the main purpose of PTA meeting is they want to ask for money.
Okay.
So once they pay the money like this, they don't see any reason to go.
attend.
So in fact, they beat us then in school. You understand? Because so we got to a stage whereby they would tell their friends, help me to write my. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now, I was trying to learn from there. I was like, okay, this is a new era. This is Gen Z's generation, and we believe that those things that happened then must not happen now. So I don't know. I think being available, I don't know if it is possible, depending on the kind of work you are doing. If as an employee, probably you can tell your employers, I want to attend. If they give that kind of, you want to attend your kids' PTA meeting. I don't even know if it is a reasonable permission to take. I don't know if they give it. I'm not an employee. I know, you understand. So I'm not. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not in that. But yesterday was my kids' open day in their school. Most times it has always been my wife going PTA meeting. In fact, is most times after school I'll just go and pick all of them. Yeah, so but yesterday I was like, okay, let me just go. I was there, and when I got there I noticed the kids, they were happy. Although I've been the one going to pick them after school every day, but that yesterday was special. They were happy after the whole thing. I took them to my office. They felt the love. So I was like, okay, so I think I can do better. Those things are my parents did not do. So
well, in that case, maybe federal government too could do better, right? But I think, I don't know if I'm correct. I think they are giving fathers maternity leave too now. Is that correct? Paternity leave now.
Yes.
I think maybe 2-3 years ago they started that.
You could get paternity leave, depending on organization, up to 5 days.
Up to 5 days.
Yes.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So we're talking about availability. You know that it's a difficult thing to balance if you don't run your own business.
Okay.
If you run your own business, a couple of things might be flexible.
Okay.
But if you are, the word you use is, if you are an employee of another organization, it might be really difficult. Why are we saying this? An average man.
Okay.
Let's take the society for instance. An average man would be somebody that wakes up in the morning, goes to work, comes back towards evening time, and of course, hence salary. Now you can imagine where, and of course, an average woman anyway would usually spend less time at work. Not that for all situations, but the standard where you have, that's why I use the word average. You see, most men spend more time at work than women. We have instances where we have women that spend more time. Let's talk about the average now. So in instances where it's the man that spends more time at work, what do you expect?
Wow.
For a woman that even spends more time at work, a woman in my own organization is entitled to 4 months maternity leave.
4 months. As
a matter of fact, you can add your annual leave to that. So you have like 5 months to yourself out of work. And you're being paid full salaries.
Wow.
And then after resumption, you can still resume 1 hour early, 1 hour late.
Wow.
Now a man does not get that.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So imagine, you talked about bondness. You see, that's where the bondness comes in. The only time you see the man around probably is maybe early in the morning, late at night, trying to help one or two things.
And if you're working in a place like Lagos,
so before you even get back home, the kids are already asleep.
Wow.
So talking about availability, I like to stay on that topic. Why? Because at the end of the day, the man is usually not available. It's easier for an employer, for instance, now to even allow a woman like, I want to go for open day. Unlike a man, the society will look at those things are for women, and why must you go? But we're looking at the way forward. So I agree that yes, it's necessary that the availability is there. We should be intentional about creating time.
Okay.
Maybe even not during working hours. How about weekends?
Okay.
Deliberately try to spend more time with the family. How about holidays? Try travel other places with the family, spend time together.
But the thing is, the weight of provision. Now, those little time that you have, the weekends, right?
Yes.
And thankfully, you have a teenager, and you what you really want is private school, good one, and then those bills. Do you understand? Even probably for some people, the finances might not be challenging for them, but I still think the weight of trying to make that finance available where career comes in, might still make it difficult for fathers to be unavailable. But for me, I think there should be we should be more intentional in celebrating the fatherhood. We should be more intentional in celebrating fathers, trying to amplify the role of fathers that we can't see openly, because father played this behind the scene role more, while the mothers play this visible role. They are always seeing them all the time. And another thing about the challenges of fatherhood now comes to parenting, like I rightly said before, especially when you're having teenagers. So how do you, especially for you, how do you cope with the, with the puberty stage, them thinking I'm grown up, them thinking I can make decision myself and the like?
Well, I have one around just approaching teenage, and by the time you are saying one, she's answering you two. Trying to tell you. As a matter of fact, I was pronouncing a word and she was mocking me. That's not the pronunciation. So, but the point is, because they are approaching that age, because they are teenagers, they believe they know better. And fortunately and unfortunately, social media is there. They're taking a lot of things from social media that it takes you extra time to sit them down and tell them, you see, that thing you consume, come, let me tell you the other side of it. This is what is expected. So oftentimes you have to, as a Christian now anyway, you have to sit down and, okay, come, let's look at the scriptures together. So the point is, you must be available, because if you are not very much available, how would you have time for those things? So, and that we agree that yes, even the mothers, except where we have for parents that have maybe 1 or 2 kids, you have the time. For me, for instance, I have 4. And anytime I try as much as possible, though, that anytime I will be on vacation is the time that they're also on vacation.
Okay.
So try to spend time.
Okay.
But the point is, you can't get enough time with them.
Yeah.
Because while you are struggling to have time with this, you are paying attention to this. The other one is dragging you for your attention. And don't forget that you are married. Your wife is there. You also need to have time to have conversations.
Yes.
No matter how you must create that time. Otherwise, the bond will not be there. These kids will grow up, they will go.
Yes.
So what will not remain of you?
Yes.
So talking about the teenagers, yes, it's challenging, but more importantly is you need to understand that as a father, your role is much more than trying to mentor them. You have to also be sure that you are committing them to God in the prayer time.
Makes sense.
Because if you don't do that, no matter your efforts,
makes sense.
You discover that it's not yielding.
But talking about social media, and I thankfully I have some. I think Mr. Adewale is you are a techie.
Yep.
You okay? I think we are not doing enough of censoring. We are not. There are some movie. We see this movie rated 18, right?
16.
Huh?
They've reduced it to 16.
Okay, they've reduced it to 16. Now there are some movie they'll say parents guidance. So don't allow your children to watch this movie without you being around. So but I discovered that some of all this content are being consumed by our children. So how can fatherhood prevent this thing? How do we become intentional as regarding what our children actually do or consume?
Yeah, actually you become intentional by being intentional. I don't know whether it makes sense that way. You just need to have it in mind. Now, and the world has changed. I remember growing up, I think I started using a mobile device after my secondary school. It was a used phone from my aunts. Now, my son is 4. He already has a tab. But in our own little way, we make sure that first and foremost, I think we made that mistake initially. But the moment we, came to terms with the fact that, because let me even run it back. The way he operates, let me personalize it now. The way he operates the gadgets, you wonder, who taught this guy? Swiping. No, I don't want this one. I don't want this one. Yes, I want this one. So I was like, okay, let me even check the content of this tab. And I realized that there are 2 YouTube platforms there. The one for kids, the one for the general YouTube. I had to uninstall that one. And leave
the one for kids.
Even that one, we tried to download as many content that we approve as possible, so that it does not need to be connected to watch. And by that, he will watch what we want him to watch. So taking that to, I don't have his experience, but what I would do for grown-ups too, although that one, it's relative, because when they start going to secondary school, you don't have control over what they consume outside, but at least within your walls. All these media how do I call it, like DSTV now, and,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
they have parental guide, just like,
Yeah.
so you just have to be intentional enough to apply those
Okay.
and make sure that we hide, because these kids are smart now. As you are putting password, you are unlocking the password. But the thing is, you can only do your best. Be intentional, have it in mind, and learn from the mistake of others. The thing is, we talk about availability, talk about career and all that, but at the end of the day, what will make the career worthwhile is if you have a healthy family.
Yeah.
So what's the essence of making the money if you have a disjointed family? So if we have that at the back of our mind, I think it will guide our actions better.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's lovely. Talking about fatherhood still, it's all about fatherhood.
Yep.
The highs and lows of fatherhood. Are fathers paying attention to their health?
Yeah, I think it's becoming a thing now.
Okay.
You know, I forgot to say this earlier. The fathers of this day and age,
Okay.
in a way, they are trying to do better than the templates.
Okay.
Okay, don't let me say they. We are trying to do better than what we met. Like, on a personal note now, I did not grow up to have a relationship with my dad.
Wow.
It has never been in my life.
Wow.
So that alone is enough motivation for me to do better. Okay? I never had a ever-present dad. I must not be that for my own children. So, and in the same way, that's tradition. Now, in terms of health, mental health, physical health, and all that, I think fathers of nowadays are more intentional about their health. Why? Because we want to live longer and enjoy the money. So, in terms of what we consume, how we, like yesterday now, I just got up. I was like, let me go and sleep for like 2 hours. This work can wait, and I did it.
Wow.
I slept. A time I was like, okay, I'm getting fat now. I need to watch what I consume.
Yeah.
Then I realized that was not enough. Okay, let me be doing early morning exercise. I consulted some people. Okay, what's the right way to go about this? What's the length, the duration, the frequency? And I got feedback and I took the step. But this was not a thing back then.
Okay.
They're all about go out
and
come back.
Yeah.
Even some fathers, once if they have cars, once they hear their horn like this, everybody moves.
Wow.
Like, you understand? So the fathers of nowadays are more intentional about virtually everything. Their image and things like that.
Mr. Victor, I'm still going to come back to you.
Yeah.
There is something that is striking, and I really, really want us to be able to talk about it. I just hope that you'll be able to share, talk more about it. All right. But before that, Mr. Akombi, now one of the thing about fatherhood too is all about being a role model. So in what have you ever seen your child doing some of the things that you are doing? I'd be like, you this. Have you seen some trait of you inside your child?
Definitely.
Okay.
Actually, I have twins. I have 2 girls, and
Whoa.
they are still kids, 2 years plus, and I would say they actually look like me. They resemble me.
Okay.
So even what I do, my wife used to say that the way I sleep, they sleep like that. That one is just, I think it's most of the things, the way I walk, sometimes, how are you walking like, and their girls, they walk like a man. So those things are there. So when we pray, the way we pray at times, even if you are speaking in tongues, you see them as little as they are.
They are
So
trying to
most time,
be.
yes, I videoed the actor. I was like, wow. Like, who taught you all these things? That they are as small as they are. But being a role model, I've learned that it's normal. Those are your children. They will always look up to you. Even your wife too. No, it's not even about the kids alone. You have to be a role model to your wife. So all those things are necessary. Okay, let's pray. This is time. This is how we do it. This is how. And as a man, as a father, Pastor used to say that you have to be in control. Yes, you have to normal. You understand how a woman can be. At times they be like, okay, my opinion too should count. Fine. My pastor will say, okay, don't shut them up. Listen to their, even if you know that you will not still go with the opinion. Even when she's bringing the issue, okay, this is what I think. Wow, there is sense in it. No, don't just rubbish it. Like things like that can, I attended a program, my pastor apostle. So the wife was talking to us, and we said their first house, it caused a lot of issue. The issue was, okay, when they were building the house, and the wife was, okay, the wife was already imagining the colors. I want color pink, I want white. Everything was already formed in the head. So one day, the husband did not even ask about our opinion. What do you like? Mama just said that day she just saw painter. They just came and they painted the whole house brown.
Wow.
As a man, I was like, this is the first time. At least if you paint the house brown, it will the color will last before getting dirty. That thing caused a lot of issue in the house, because the woman was like, she felt bad, so I'm irrelevant. This man did not even ask about this. To now worsen the matter, one of our friends now came. When she now came, she now saw the house, was like, who paints house in color? Like that was not it at the moment. She was just ranting, she vexed. So now, okay, now later the husband now apologized. No, he has made the mistake. How did he correct it? He was like, okay, don't worry, the next house we are going to build, but everything you be the way to do the coloring, everything, and it was able to. So I learned from that. Even though it could have been okay. When they wanted to paint the house, what do you suggest? Okay, I want pink here. I want woman of God now. This one will get this is our first house. You are still so let's just do brown for now. When we build more houses, usually like that can be.
So that means fatherhood is not just all about autonomy. You trying to be like, yes, I'm the father of this house. Anything I say goes.
Now,
there is this special interest, but before I talk about that, just from personal experience, I lost my dad when I was 10 years old. So for me, I would say I don't really have what would say a perfect picture of what fatherhood is. The few I have, in fact, from my own belief, I think I am my dad's favorite. Because I remember back then during my birth month, which is in July, it's always party in the house, and he tried to be intentional about that just because of me. You understand? So now I don't have much of my father around. The few I have, yes, then I have my elder ones, my brothers and the like, but not much of a father. And for me, I still think there is that missing link is still there. All right, but I'm trying to do better. And like Mr. Adewale rightly said when we are having a conversation earlier about there are other people that you can look up to as father figure. But Mr. Adewale said something. He said, your father hasn't been around from the onset.
Yeah.
Can you expatiate?
Things happened. I didn't grow up to see him around. So they separated before I grew up.
Wow.
So it was even later I got to know that he had another family.
Wow.
So growing up, then later, started reaching out to, have that relationship with my younger ones. But I think he died when I was in the uni, and I got to learn about that maybe 2 years later.
Wow.
So, but growing up, I've always had my mom, and but there is no way a woman can perfectly fill a man's shoes. It's not possible. So on my own part, I've learned from my environment, the people around, people in the church, the kind of father I want to be from others. Oh, I like this thing about this man. Nobody is perfect, but I pick traits that I love to be from different people. Oh, I like the way this man is raising his family. Okay, I think I would like to raise my family like that. I like the way this man is accessible. I like the way this man have a balance, a good career and a good family. So things like that you pick around, and
so for you, I understand that you are able to pick around, but more importantly, what would you say to? Well, first and foremost, I want to believe that there is already forgiveness in your heart towards. I know you feel hurt, growing up and understanding the situation. Oh,
yeah, I've made peace with that a long time ago. So for my own sake.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not healthy to be angry
Okay.
at somebody that is even not around anymore. So so the best thing is to make peace with it. It has happened.
Okay.
Although it will have been on the best side if I get to hear his own side of the story in flesh, not hearsay.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the chance, and there's nothing I can do about that. So I've made peace with that. Just like I said earlier, I reached out to my younger ones so we are still in the process of building that relationship.
Wow. So for in that aspect, are there bad fathers? Are there good fathers?
Yeah, that's life. There's always good and bad.
Very true.
So what makes a father bad?
If you are not responsible, like taking responsibility of your family, being intentional. We have fathers in the world today that you hear their children tell them to their face that it's even better you are not around. So that's a typical example of a bad father. When your own child is telling you that you have no impact in my life, you are around but you have no impact. So they are bad fathers. You hear stories, things that men do outside.
Do you have thought on that?
Yes, when you talk about bad fathers, we've talked about career, we've talked about availability.
Yes.
So depending on how deep we want to go into it, you could have extreme bad fathers. Extreme bad fathers. I mean, there are instances where you see a man is always strong, he's not supportive to the children, doesn't even care, and whatever the kids do is not his own business. As a matter of fact, it's the woman in the house that's even taking care of everything, the bills, bills, and so that's like to an extreme.
Wow.
And then you could see some fathers that, basically, not that they are actually bad, but they don't understand fatherhood. They don't understand fatherhood in the sense that, for me, for me, for instance, now I can't imagine that I finished paying my kids' school fees and I'm not there with them. I can't imagine I'm not having conversations with them. So if a father, father quote and unquote, now you're calling, as a matter of fact, they're not even fathers. They're just fatherly figures. Because a father is expected to have time, help model, shape a child. So where the man is not doing that, and that's why it's difficult for career men where their job is actually taking them away from their family. That they are not always available, and that's why for me personally, living in Lagos, for instance, is a no-no. Except where that your house is not far from your work.
From your workplace.
You understand? Otherwise, I can't imagine waking up. I used to work in Lagos. I can't imagine waking up as early as 5, leaving home as early as 5 rather. And then you are getting back home 11, 12. The kids are already asleep before you get back home. So what's so the only time you have with your kids are probably weekends. And for my own kind of industry, weekends you might be available. You might have to get back to work for one thing or the other. Either you have a training or there's a meeting. Well, thank God for social media now. Thank God for Teams and technology. Basically that you can sit at home and say have your meetings. But before now, you have to be present for all meetings. You have to be present for all trainings, and usually they are weekends.
Wow.
So a bad father priority is to the extreme, and then when you are not even available, the child's development. So.
And some people it's due to their perception growing up. For instance, now I've had someone. I think my pastor shared his story, and I've had a personal experience with someone in that regard, where a guy will say, "I've never seen my father give my mother money, so why should I give my wife money?"
You see that?
So, like someone like that now, I don't know how to. You can't say it's their fault because that's what they've grown up to experience. So some people are bad due to the kind of upbringing they had.
So Mr. Akombi, would you, from your own point of view, do you think you are doing better than your father? or what kind of father would you say your father is? And whether good or bad, but in whichever regard, are you doing better than him?
Yeah, definitely, I'm doing better than him. Actually, my dad, when he was alive, he was not a bad father. He was a good father, but he was very strict. He was a very strict man. He was a teacher rather, and he teaches English. In our area, then the school where he teaches, then people there, when they see us at home, they will be feeling pity for us, that that kind of a teacher that beats a lot in school. No small thing like this. Even myself, he beat me. He really beat me. So he was very strict. So even when you want to when you have things that you want to tell himself, everywhere is just like war. Even when he's coming home like this, if you are in the sitting room, everybody is just going to their room. But when it comes to responsibility, he was always there, everything. Wow. So but that strictness, it was too much. It was very strict.
Wait, for better context, so discipline, strict, can you draw a line between both? Or as father, for you now, you have a child, how do you balance it now? Or do you want to say anything goes in my house among my children?
No. No.
So how do you now make sure I am going to be a father that is not strict, but I'm disciplined, trying to instill the right attitude in my children? How do you?
Personally too, I'm very disciplined. I'm very disciplined.
Oh, you are very strict.
Yeah, even no, even as little as my kids, I beat them. Seriously, yes, I beat them. Children, don't do this. Don't do this.
Wait, let's clarify. Let's clarify that bit. So that we can because it's actually against the law.
Yeah. Okay.
There is an extent at which you can actually spank children.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact the word beating sometimes is an offense.
Okay.
In some developed countries,
I understand.
they call it abuse.
Yeah.
Thank you. So are you abusing?
No.
Okay, just so that we.
No, I'm just trying to.
For the record,
want
to set the record straight.
I'm trying to put them, in the right place. Okay, don't do
but
this.
Don't do this. No.
I love them. I don't abuse them. I'm not abusing them. But when it comes to discipline, I discipline them. This is how I want you to. Imagine a 2-year-old kid, fighting with you because of remote. They want to watch cartoon. I want to watch. I was like, how did we get to this place? So I was sit down. I try to discipline them, but when it's come after all those, I'll still carry them, play with them. Daddy loves you. All those things. So I try to balance. I try a lot in balancing that aspect, and I think we've talked about why kids love their dad more, their moms more than. So I just want to say one thing about that. I think our wives, they have a lot of works, like a lot of impact in that aspect, in the sense that when you do some things, it's their responsibility to. My wife does do it a lot, like thank your dad, he did this. When providing, most times you just go out to spend like 300,000 buying food at home. But it's the mom that is cooking the food, so they feel that it's our mom is you understand. But when I get something new for them, their mom will be like, daddy got you this thing. I say thank you. Also, I think our wives can our wives they can do better in that aspect. Okay, when they should talk more of us, like positively to our kids. Okay, this is who your dad is, a very good man. I think that one we help them in loving us.
Okay.
To help them more than we have some mothers that your dad is useless. And once your mom is telling you that your dad is useless, that thing it will have an impact in your life. Mere seeing the man, you will be seeing a useless man. Sincerely, because you believe that whatever your mom is saying, she's right. So if our wives, they can do more in that aspect, they should talk more positively about us to the kids. This is who your dad is. He's a loving man. Even if he's not around, it's because of work. It's not as if he doesn't have you guys in mind.
Yeah.
So that will go a long way. Even when they are saying, they believe, they will feel, daddy. It's not as if daddy don't want to play with us, but daddy is busy and I want to provide. Even when I pay school fees, dad just pay your school fees. Yeah, say thank you to.
Yeah.
They will be happy. So I think in that sense, if our wives can do like that, if they can be doing like that, the kids, I believe they will love us equally. Not
that equal love for me might not be possible.
Okay.
Well, I'm a man, and I have my own father. You know, I used to have my mom. She's late now, but oftentimes when I sit down and I still say it's not intentional, but I just discovered that I just love my mom more. You understand? Not because she was always there. I mean, my dad was. I love him. I really love him.
Yeah.
But the point is, I'm not really attracted to him the way I am to my mom. You know, I'm more concerned about my mom when she was there. Hope you are fine. What can I do for you? How can I make you feel better? You know. So talking about our wives doing better now, I think the issue is much more than what they see. You know, because the way the thing is, I'll give you a quick example. You know, my first son. Somehow I'm very particular about the fact that I want to have a better relationship with him than the way I had with my dad, you know, father-son relationship. You know, and so there are times that you know it's just me and him having conversations. You know, we play well. When we see us play at times, you wonder, are these guys brothers? You know? And but the point is, I just discovered that somehow there are certain things that it doesn't open up to me. You know. He feels more comfortable discussing those things with his mom. You see that? Even when I'm very intentional about that. Now, switch the gender. My first daughter, you know, that's the second child now. You discover that because I feel like, okay, maybe because she's a girl, she'll be closer to me.
To you.
You know, because while we were growing up, at a point, my sister was closer to
your
our
father.
dad, you know, somehow. So I was feeling like, okay, she would be closer to me.
She'll come around.
Understand? We are closer, we play well.
Yeah.
You know, if we see the way this morning we were running around the house like teenagers, running around and playing, you know, it's intentional for me that let me get closer to my children. But I still discovered that no matter how close I am, you understand? Some things you still like, he's mama. You know, so I don't know if there's something I am missing personally. But I have, from my personal experience, I just think it's just natural. You know, apart from the bondness, you know, the woman is always a woman. The woman, as a matter of fact, that's why you love her as your wife. You know, a good woman, like you said earlier, will always cater for the husband. You know, while you are tired and like, let me rest. Even when she's tired, she's still trying to fend for you. Are you okay? Have you had your dinner? Should I get this available for you? Now, how many of women we actually do that for our children? You know, even when we are tired. Oftentimes, for me, you talked about football now. Can you sacrifice that football for the cartoon the kids want to watch? You know? So those are some of those things. Your wife will probably sacrifice the African Magic movie for the cartoon.
I will even tell my son that I paid this.
Do you see that? So you know those are those
sacrifice.
That's why I go to
you see that? Those are those little things, and the Bible says little things that spoil the vine. You know, some things that we find difficult to sacrifice. They will just allow those things.
Football. Now, well, there is an underspoken, or how will I phrase this? You know, talks about fatherhood, which is more about keeping the family together. All right. I don't know who is to be blamed when divorces happen. Is it the father? Is it the mother? For me, I think it's even hinged on the father more. But we discover that women are even taking up this role more. You hear statements like, I'm staying for my children. I have to stay in for my children. Why for men sometimes it's easier for them to walk away, to just move away. From experience, one of the most disturbing thing I saw growing up was when my father actually threw out my mom's belongings out and say, just go. leave my house because he now has a second wife. You understand? And I think part of fatherhood is actually, like I said, I'm not a father, but I've seen things. All right, I've seen things, and it's one of the things that I know I want to be intentional about. I want to ensure that I keep my own family together. I don't want a divorce situation when I get married, because it's another thing we don't talk about fatherhood. We just think fatherhood is all about the children and the like, and not remembering that fatherhood is also keeping the home together, ensuring that the home is tightly together. Fathers also should be having that mindset that mothers have, like, where am I can't leave my kids. Where will I leave my kid? Who will I leave my kids with? But it's easier for men sometimes to just be like, okay, your mother will take care of you. You understand? So another second thing that we don't also talk very well is single parenting. All right, like a widower. We talk more about widow. We don't actually talk more about widower, and this is also part of fatherhood. For example, I've seen situation whereby the man is left with 3 kids and the wife is late. Most of them don't get emotional support from the society, from the community. I don't know, can we talk about this? How can we create more awareness as regarding single parenting in terms of father, in the father aspect, and also how the role of the father is to make sure they keep the family together. For me, I think a lot of divorce happen once the man just feel like, I can't do this anymore. Most of the time, if the woman even feel like, I can't do this anymore,
Can still be persuaded.
they can still be persuaded once the man is not ready to let it go.
That's it.
But how about that?
No. I should go?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know if I have a different perspective, but I'll say that it's commitment on both parts.
Okay.
Where a family is not staying together, there are times I've seen women that are like, I can't take this anymore.
Okay.
And at the same time, I've seen men that feels like, I'm getting something else outside. Like the example you gave. I mean, like, what you shared just now. The man feels like, I have somebody else, so why should I keep, So, but I agree that men are more rascal, quote unquote, and unfortunately, that's just the society. However, if you look at the way it is, a man can accommodate more than a woman. So I wonder why, especially for the aged parents that we have, and maybe because I tend to have some friends from the other religion, from Muslim religion, where you see their parents, their dad has 2, 3, 4 wives, and they'll tell you that, see, from our religion, you can, as a matter of fact, I have friends that tell you that, see, I can take care, I can love them equally. Which of course is questionable.
It's questionable.
So, but when you ask them to define that love, they tell you that whatever I do for A, I must do for B. That's their own definition of love, which of course, whatever it is that works for them. But we're talking about us now, So I think when we have issues like that, it's important that there should be commitment on both parties. There must be sacrifices, either from the man's side or from the woman's side. I'm not perfect. My wife is not perfect, but we decided that we want to spend the rest of our lives together. So where there are challenges, it's either I compromise for her sake, for the sake of the family, or she compromise for her sake, for the sake of the family. So there should be 50-50. Now, talking about, you asked 2 questions.
Yes.
Okay, so talking about the widowers, it's unfortunate that the way the society is, they believe that is a man. So nobody really cares for the man. They believe he's a man. And unfortunately, again, we only have a few men that would tell you that, well, they want to stay with their children without getting married. I know someone that lost his wife last year. As I speak to you now, he's already married. It's in less than a year. And the question we asked was, are you waiting for her to die? Why won't you give even at least more than a year? But for him, he's saying, who will take care of my kids? You know, that's the question. But the point is, are you sure that woman will cater for those children the way your wife would? You would have spent more time to understand who she is, you know. So, but I agree with you that the society is not doing well enough for widowers, you know, and that's why you see most widowers will rush to remarry, you know. However, the way we cater for widows, especially in our churches, you know, there's special attention in my own churches, for instance. My own church, my own denomination, there's special attention for widowers.
For widows.
Yes, you know, we cater for them specially. However, for the widowers, I think we can do more.
Yeah.
Either we consciously look for a way to, you know, ask their needs. If it's to send individuals, you know, pay individuals, age individuals to help them cater for, you know, clean the house and all those, maybe it will help and give them some succor, probably, you know. So, but I agree with you. We can do better for the widowers.
Yeah. So, Mr. Victor, in terms, have you ever felt the weight of fatherhood that makes you feel like maybe you should just walk away?
Everybody has a breaking point, but I've not gotten there yet. I pray you don't get there. I don't pray I get there. But there are times where you just want to be alone.
Okay.
I've left the house before, although I told my wife that I just need a quiet. She was the one that even told me, okay, go to so place, lodge, sleep. I've just then come back. That's just my wife. She's the best, and so the thing is sometimes it's not possible not to feel that weight. So, but coming to terms with it on a daily basis, understanding the essence.
Yeah.
We, you know, standing in good stead going forward. So understanding that regardless of what you do, the weight will always be there.
Wow.
So dealing with the weight is what I focus on more than the weight itself.
The weight
because
itself.
I've come to understand that regardless of what happens, the weight will always be there. Although it's easier when you are buoyant, because most of the weight is financial. So once you look and you see some things,
I get it. Mr. Akombi, you are twins. Beautiful girls.
Daughters.
Were you present on the night of delivery?
Definitely, I was there.
You were present.
I was there.
So were you feeling I don't know, was there labor pain?
Yes, there was.
Can you just relive that moment, please? I want you to relive that moment in talking to us. How was it? How was that night?
It was
especially for you. How do you feel? Do you feel the pain without you? Doctor.
It was very tense. Sincerely, you know, it was one Monday evening like that, and when my wife was going into the labor room, the way she was even looking, she was looking like, although we've prayed and I knew nothing will happen, but feelings it was so strong. I went to her that you are not going to die now, so why are you doing like this? So and that time when she was in the labor room, so because we gave birth in I think this hospital Unimed. Okay. So the labor room was very close to the emergency room. So but that when she was in the labor room, someone died in the emergency room. So I think it was an accident, and they rushed the guy inside and the guy died immediately. You know, when your wife is somewhere and someone else died, they were crying. It was beside her, but I was just probably because I'm a Christian and I have faith, and we've prayed about it, but normal you will still be shaking as a man. So, but to the glory of God, I was able to.
Did you shake?
I did not really shake actually, but I was able to manage everything because I knew nothing will happen to her. So it was very strong in my mind that you are going and you are coming back. So you cannot leave me with girls. We will take care of them. So that conviction was very strong. So so it gave me. So I was not like normal. So just go and come back. So that when those things happen, I was like, although I was praying, I was pacing around, praying, and to the glory of God, everything came out the way it was expected.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Victor, I think something like that happened recently.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was the second time.
Yes.
So this one, we've learned from the
The
first
first one.
experience. So the first experience was, it's the first time, something you have not experienced before. So you don't even know what to expect. No, like, I understand his point. I have that conviction that we go get that day now. But I remember I still have the picture. I was pacing around, walking up and down, because we were not allowed in the
Yes.
theater. So I was outside. I was moving around. Then at the time I would sit down. Then within seconds I would be up. But I don't know. I was not worried.
Yes.
But that just happened.
Yeah.
Just moving around. Sometimes I will pray. I'll be like, maybe you don't pray before. No pray again and all that. But so that, and of course I don't want to mention names, but I believe our government hospitals can do better. The experience we had was not. I vowed that day that we are not coming back here. So this, to the glory of God, the second one, we actually saw the chance. I was like, okay, we can do this thing so that I can, my birthday. So I was like, we tried it for the first one.
Okay.
So we were like 2 weeks short.
Wow.
So God presented, because it's God, it's not me. God presented another chance. So I was like, we can run this thing on my birthday. So just like I said, we made the decision. We're intentional. We're not using government facilities anymore. So we use a private facility. And so the second experience was, I would say, is better because we've had the first experience.
Yes.
So we know what to expect, we know what to do now and all that. But as a man, if you truly love your wife, it's not even on that day alone. It starts from the first day you got the news. You are although it's not possible to actually feel what she's feeling.
Yes.
But at least you are intentional, you are aware, and you show concern. Like if you hear any strange sound, Alpha, you are okay, things like that. So it's a 9-month journey too for you, even as a man. So it's not even on that day alone. At least for me, it's not on that day alone. That is just the final of.
For you, I think you've gone like 4 seasons.
Yes. But I don't know. I don't know. I've never had the fear.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe because I just believe so much that God has always been in charge.
Wow.
But one thing I know is we've always done the labor together. If you understand what I mean. I deliberately plan. The EGD.
Yeah.
So I plan to be available that period, and usually for me, God has helped us such that we get to the hospital, we don't deliver, and we're out. Oftentimes we don't spend too much time. So we spend time at home because of our parents. Our mom, we would have shared experience. We say, people calm down, take hot water. Don't just sit in one place. So when they ask us move around, take the stairs, things like that. So when the pressure is coming, it's me she holds. That holding is not funny. So she grabs me by the hand, and then gradually this is what you guys can go to the hospital now.
Wow.
So I mean, for all our kids, to the glory of God, it wasn't difficult, except the last one, where for all my kids, we got to the hospital. We left maybe after everything 12 hours.
Wow.
Max. But for the last one, we and delivery usually is within the hour. Once you get to the hospital, 30 minutes, 1 hour, the baby is out. And then, but for the last one, the funny thing was we got to the hospital and I was expecting the usual, it wasn't happening. So I the word you use, I was pacing, and I wasn't expecting anything serious. Why would this one delay? Funny thing is, she was at work that day, She went to the work. I was at home. I waited for her. She went to work. She came back, and from there we drove to the hospital. And by the time we got there, I was expecting the usual. And 30 minutes, 1 hour. What's happening? After 1 hour, I had to, the hospital for her is, even though it's in the north, Federal Medical Center is a teaching hospital now. I had to try to beckon on the person by the door. That lady that just went in, please, what is happening? So, but thank God that God intervened. There would have probably been complications.
Wow.
But it was just God that intervened. And for the first time that we've been having kids, she spent like 3-4 days in the hospital after that. So, but the point is, it's just God.
It's God.
What is important is, as fathers, it's important that you don't miss that experience.
True.
For the first one, I was there. I was the one ordering the nurses, ordering the doctors, and I had to send me, take this thing, go and buy. Because they discovered that mine was too much. And before I would get to the gate of the hospital, I already had the news that she has delivered. So, but
I love that approach.
But the point is, I think as fathers, it's important that we're deliberate to be present there. The experience, you don't want to miss it. That's how you get to love your wife. You understand the sacrifice. You don't treat her anyhow. You understand that, the labor is, the pain she went through is not something that you should take for granted. And at the same time, you get to love the children more. Because when you understand that, when you see some women that they are anyhow because of the pain they have. So if you are part of that pain, that experience, you also be careful the way you discipline your children. You put them on the right path, but not spanking anyhow, like you get. So that's it for me, actually.
It's been a wonderful conversation, and we gradually coming to the end of this conversation. But before we wrap it up, is it true that mothers are better at dates than fathers?
Dates? How do you mean?
Like keeping records of dates.
Milestones.
Exactly. Like for example, if I'm just going to ask you, what's the birthday of your first son?
April 17th. It's easy.
Wow, very easy.
I was there.
What about you?
October 13th.
Your wedding anniversary.
September 5th.
I'm having amazing fathers here. Amazing fathers.
No, if you are conscious, if you the good thing, like my brother here said, the good thing is if you have a lot of role models, and you are conscious about the fact that you want to be better, you work it out to be better.
So for you, what's your wife's birthday?
That's
this man. That's good. Now to wrap up this conversation, I would want us to to personally it's two things. All right, your experience so far as father, and what is the biggest sacrifice that you've made as a father? Something, what I mean by sacrifice. Starting from
okay. I'm still a young father. So,
okay.
We are still learning I don't say on the job, but let me use the phrase. It's been a wonderful experience. Of course, the pressure is there, just like I said earlier. The pressure will always be there, but it's been a wonderful experience of growth. Because as a father, as an intentional father, you watch what you do. You are conscious of your actions because your children, even people that are not your children, they are watching. Somebody said to me recently that there is this quote that leaders are the picture of our future. So he now said, you are the picture of my future. So hearing that, it helps you align. Because once you involve yourself in some things, you think like, oh, I don't have to do this. I can do better and things like that. So it's been an amazing experience. Just like I said, the pressure is there. But I'm learning to enjoy, my role as a father. So that's it for me, my personal opinion. I'm learning to cherish, being a father, because it's a gift, and it's something I don't want to take for granted.
Okay.
So as for personal sacrifice, it's plenty. It's plenty, and I don't think I have a peak. That's my personal experience. I don't have a peak. It's too much to count, because that's what we do. We sacrifice. We put ourselves on the line and things like that.
So over to you, Mr. Akin.
Okay, well, he said it that it's much. You can't enumerate them. I know there are instances where I have to deny myself of some pleasures. There are instances where, lately, my third child, she wrote common entrance, she passed, and I was like, oh, you know what we'll do? That school you won't go now. Let's wait till next term. So who does that? You have to go and write. No, seriously, that was the question. Who does that? You have to go and write common entrance. I wrote the common entrance, I passed. You are telling me to wait. Why would I wait? But the waiting I was asking her to wait is because of the costs. You get? I mean, the two others are already in secondary school. She's joining them, and the cost is actually high for that particular school. And I was trying to explain. She said, "No, all these things that they just leave them." She said I should go and write. I've passed. So what else? So the point is, for me, that sacrifice, as I speak to you, and I'm already planning towards resumption September.
Wow.
A lot of things I have to put on check, so that and the elder sister is already telling me better start buying things now. It's a boarding school.
Yeah.
And she's already telling me better go and be buying things now. So, and the truth is, you must sacrifice those things. Otherwise,
True.
What will happen?
True.
That's as a father to them. Even as a husband to my wife, there was this day that I saw something very beautiful, a shoe, and I had to buy 2 pairs for her. And I asked myself the question that day, that why wouldn't I buy for myself? For me to have coughed out about 100,000 naira because I just wanted to buy shoes for my wife. And I was asking myself,
wow.
So, but those are just material things.
Yes, sir.
You get? My daughter was telling me, I was cautioning her on something, and she carelessly mentioned it out. I learned from the best.
Wow.
Because when I was cautioning her on, she saw that I did it earlier. So the point is, you must be able to put yourself on check.
We role model.
That's why I talked about the fact that even when things, you have to sacrifice your pleasure.
Yes.
Because you know that you are raising individuals.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Akon.
I don't really have much sacrifices I've made, because the normal sacrifices I've made are just the normal general one as a father.
Okay.
Sleep, when you want to sleep throughout the whole night, and babies are crying, you have to carry them. And being twins, when one is sleeping, is that when one is about to sleep, the second one will wake up. So I think that's the major. Financially, God has been faithful, and so I'm still a baby father. You understand?
Father with 2. Starting with 2.
Yes, I think the last time I can say, before when we got married, when kids were not there, so I registered in a gym. I wanted to have it. So I was going. So when my wife got pregnant, so one day I just saw that this thing will not work again. That was 2022, and since then I've never entered gym again.
Okay.
Serious, because I used to go very early. I go as early as maybe to 7. I come back to 9 before going to work. But now 5:30 we are up now, preparing for their school. 7:30 they are in school. So most of when I go back home, coming from their school, I'm already tired. Just I have to prepare for work again.
Wow.
So I think let me say that one, gym, that's the only fitness. I think is a major sacrifice, because if I'm not a father, probably I'll still be running up and down.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. We've been having lovely and wonderful conversation as regarding the high and lows of fatherhood right here in Latest Vibe Studio. This is brought together by Latest Vibe Visual Production in celebration of fatherhood, in celebration of Father's Day. And to all amazing fathers out there that are doing their best, being a better role model for the society, for the community at large, I want to say happy Father's Day to you. We see all the things that you do, we recognize your struggle, and I pray and I wish that all of those struggle is gonna fade away, and you'll be an amazing father as you've been. Thank you so much for listening to this conversation surrounding fatherhood. And to the society, let's do the best that we can do in celebrating fathers more intentionally, and also showing fathers a lot of love. Thank you very much, Mr. King, Mr. Victor, Mr. Kombi, for honoring our invitation. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We honor you. You have been a true role model and father figure, to the society. And we have this beautiful and wonderful gift on behalf of Latest Vibe Studio. Thank you very much, Mr. Akin. This is for you. Thank you so much. Happy Father's Day to you. And this is for you, Mr. Akombi. Happy Father's Day to you. This is also for you from Latest Vibe Visual Production. And Mr. Adewale, this is for you. Thank you. Just a token of us showing our own love to the fatherhood community. We see all that you do out there, and we'll pray that the strength to keep on being amazing father, you will have them. Thank you for coming on this podcast show at Latest Vibe Studio. Thank you, and have a lovely Father's Day celebration. Catch you. I am Samuel Afalayan.